today I want to talk you through the 5 real reasons why you're not losing belly fat. And no, it's not because you're not doing enough cardio or not spending enough time in the gym or not taking the right supplements. And I can say that with a lot of confidence because not only have I been a personal trainer and a nutritionist for over 5 years, specializing in helping guys to burn belly fat so that they can double their energy, their strength, and their confidence. But I've also been on my own weight loss journey. I got into personal training and nutrition because I lost 45 pounds myself and I felt the incredible benefits. But I also went through all of the struggles. So if you're struggling to lose belly fat right now, not only do I promise that I'm going to give you the 5 real reasons you're not losing the belly fat, I'm also going to help you to overcome those reasons. And no, I'm not one of these YouTubers who just sits here and preaches theory. I've worked with over 100 clients in the last 5 years in the real world. So all the advice I give is based on practical applications, based on working with real people. So the stuff I'm going to teach you today, you can take away and implement straight away so that you can start to burn that belly fat and keep making progress on your weight loss journey. Okay, let's get into it. So reason number 1 that you're not losing the belly fat is that you're probably on a diet, but you're not actually in a calorie deficit. And what I mean by that is that you've probably restricted yourself in some way, shape, or form. Whether that's through time-restricted eating, doing intermittent fasting, or you've done an elimination diet where you've cut out carbs, or you've gone to one extreme of the spectrum. Either you've gone vegan or carnivore. You see, a lot of people buy into the newest, shiniest methods, but they forget to actually adhere to the principle of weight loss and fat loss, and that is the calorie deficit. Creating a calorie deficit is very straightforward, but more important than being straightforward, it works. So let me explain how you go about doing it. The first thing you need to understand is how to calculate your maintenance calorie number. Your maintenance calorie number is the number of calories that you burn based on your physiology, your age, your weight, your height, and your sex, and your current lifestyle. So this is how active you are, what type of work you do, and how often you're exercising as well. Now, there are complex formulas and algorithms that I use with my one-to-one clients where I've got their precise data to help them calculate their exact maintenance calories. But truth be told, you can use a very rough and ready rudimentary formula that's going to give you a very close approximation. Take your body weight in pounds, make sure it's not in kilos because some people do this in kilos and they get it all wrong, and multiply that number, your body weight, by 15. With a 10% margin of error, that's your maintenance calorie number. Now what we need to do is get you consuming fewer calories than that, creating a deficit. Because if you consume fewer calories than you are burning, your body has no choice but to use the stored fat, the stored energy as fuel. And that's how you lose body fat. Now, a lot of people like to start off by creating a 500 calorie deficit. In fact, a lot of people think they have to create a 500 calorie deficit. And the reason this has come about is because of the maths. Let me explain. So if you create a 500 calorie deficit per day, you're going to lose about 1 pound of fat per week. And the reason being is that there are 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. In fact, let me show you what 1 pound of fat actually looks like. All right, so this is what 1 pound of fat looks like. Kind of weird, isn't it? This is the equivalent of 3,500 calories. And it's pretty big. You know, if I'm to just chuck this somewhere on my body, you realize how substantial it is. A lot of people, when they start their weight loss journey, they think they need to lose 20 of these. And maybe they do. But a lot of the time, if you lose the first 5 or 10, you're like, actually, that's made a heck of a difference because as you can tell, fat isn't very dense. It's very spread out. And as I say, 1 pound of fat equates to 3,500 calories. And if you were in a 500 calorie deficit per day, that means you are going to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit every week because 500 multiplied by 7 is 3,500, which is why people like to try and stick to that 500 calorie daily deficit because they like the idea of losing 1 pound of fat per week, which is great. And I think a 500 calorie deficit is actually very achievable, but I do think some people go about this the wrong way. Rather than trying to stick to a 500 calorie deficit every single day, whether it's a Monday, a Thursday, a Saturday, or a Sunday, what I would encourage you to do is figure out your maintenance calorie number. So take the body weight in pounds, multiply by 15, minus 500 from that number. And that's going to give you your daily recommended calorie intake. And then multiply that number by 7. So that's now going to give you your weekly calorie allowance. Let me give you a working example. Let's say, for example, my maintenance calories is 2,500. If I subtract 500 from that number, it's 2,000. So that means my daily recommended calorie intake to be in a 500 calorie deficit is going to be 2,000 calories per day. I don't really want to stick to 2,000 calories every single day because not every single day is the same. My Monday looks very different to my Friday, and my Friday looks very different to my Sunday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 2,000 and I'm going to multiply it by 7. Now I've got 14,000 calories to spend in that week. Now, how I choose to spend those calories is completely up to me. What I'm probably going to do is have low calorie days at the start of my week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Why is that? Well, my stress levels are probably going to be a little bit lower and I'm probably going to have fewer social engagements. Whereas I get towards the weekend, Thursday, maybe there's temptation to go out for a beer after work or have a date night with the missus. I want to have a slightly higher calorie day. Friday, Saturday, it's the weekend. I want to relax. I want to give myself a bit more freedom, a bit more control. I don't want to have to be as restrictive on myself, and you shouldn't have to. So on those days, Friday and Saturday, because I've had the low calorie days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I've got more calories to play with on Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday, I want to use Sunday as a chance to reset, to reflect, and then plan my next week. So I'm going to bring my calories back down to about 2,000. So you see what I've done there? I've structured my week in a very flexible way. It means I can have low calorie days and high calorie days. But as long as I'm hitting my 14,000 calories in the week, I've still stuck to that 500 calorie deficit per day. It's just not in every single day, if that makes sense. As a result of that, I'm going to consistently lose 1 pound of body fat per week. And you've noticed that whilst I was explaining that to you, I never talked about the time you've got to eat or what you've got to eat. You don't need to eat at certain times. You don't need to eat a certain number of meals, and you certainly don't need to be cutting out food groups like carbohydrates. Can these things help some people? Absolutely. Eating at a certain time of day can reduce your cravings, and it can also change the internal triggers that are going on in your brain. Reducing carbohydrates can be an effective strategy at the beginning because it's going to help you lose a little bit more water weight. It gets you off to a good start and it helps you to feel better about the fact that you are making progress from day one. But I am not encouraging you to be seriously restrictive on your carbohydrates because, guys, they are your body's preferred source of energy. Here's some other top tips to help you create a 500 calorie deficit per day. First and foremost, try not to create your deficit purely from restricting your food. So don't feel like you just have to eat 500 calories less. What I would encourage you to do is eat 250 calories less and move 250 calories more. Because remember, this is based on our maintenance calorie number. So if I increase my activity level by about 250 calories per day, I've increased my maintenance calories because now I'm doing more. I've changed my lifestyle. That means I don't need to eat 500 calories less. If I eat 250 calories less and move 250 calories more, I've still created that 500 calorie deficit. And the way to do this isn't necessarily to go out and do 4 or 5 runs a week or to feel like you have to hit the gym 7 days a week or do crazy HIIT classes or anything like that. The most sustainable way to do this is to go on a 45-minute walk every single day. Make it a non-negotiable habit. This is going to have a whole range of benefits for your health, both physical and mental. A lot of people don't realize that walking activates a part of your nervous system called your parasympathetic nervous system. This is linked to rest, relaxation, and restoration. So when you're looking up into the distance, changing your environment, changing your perspective, getting out of the mundane day-to-day stresses that you associate with your office or your home, it guarantees you to just relax a little bit. But it also enables you to breathe fresh air, to get out into the community, to get sunlight, to get daylight, to get vitamin D. And vitamin D is so important for our overall health. So walking, top tip for you if you want to create that calorie deficit pretty effortlessly. The other top tip I would give you is to get on top of your sleep, guys. And the reason being is that, let's be honest, fat loss, weight loss, it's a hard process, particularly when we first start. And a lot of that is to do with the relationship between our brain and our body. Our brain loves something called homeostasis, and staying the same, basically. So if you try and encourage your body to change, your brain's going to fight that. And if you're sleep deprived, your hormones are going to be all over the place. And your hormones effectively dictate how you feel. And how you feel is going to dictate your actions. And if you're feeling a bit crap, your actions are going to reflect that, aren't they? You see, when you sleep, all of your hormones are brought back into balance. Not just your sex hormones, whether that's your testosterone if you're a man or your estrogen if you're a woman, but your hunger hormones, your stress hormones, and all the other hormones that are going through your bloodstream all the time. Doctors will tell you you need to get 7 to 9 hours, but let's be real. Who in this day and age is getting 9 hours sleep a night? If you can get 7 hours of high quality sleep with the right regularity, and I'll explain what that means in a second, you are going to be absolutely golden. When I talk about sleep regularity, what I mean is trying to go to bed and trying to wake up at the same time every day. Scientists have proven recently that this has had profound effects on people's circadian rhythm and their overall sleep quality. Because people talk a lot about sleep quantity, that's 7 to 9 hours, but we don't talk enough about our sleep quality. And the way to improve your sleep quality, well, I use a very simple system called the 3-2-1 system. 3 hours before bed, you want to stop eating food. 2 hours before bed, you want to stop drinking anything, whether that's water, juice, alcohol, or soft drinks. And 1 hour before bed, you want to try, and I appreciate this is the hardest one, but try to come off of all your devices, whether that's laptops, phones, TVs, or anything else like that. And I'm sure you've heard the reason for this is because they emit a lot of blue light, and that blue light counteracts the production of your melatonin, which is your sleep hormone. So if you implement that 3-2-1 rule and you do it consistently for 7 to 14 days, I guarantee you're going to feel a profound effect. And the last thing I'll say on sleep before we move on to the second reason is to try and limit your stimulants, your caffeine, your nicotine, your alcohol, and your sugar. Whilst these stimulants all give us a nice short-term dopamine, adrenaline rush, that feel-good factor that we all love, and the reason half of us are addicted to these things, in the long term, ultimately, they're going to be harming your sleep quality, particularly caffeine and nicotine. So as much as you can, try and limit these, or at least try and limit them in the hours before you go into bed. And last but not least, if you're watching this and thinking, oh, I've heard all this before, calorie deficit, it doesn't work for me. Listen, look into my eyes, listen to my voice. I can say this with 100% total conviction. If you are not losing body fat, you are not in a calorie deficit. So reassess the numbers, be honest with your lifestyle, and try and move a little bit more and try and eat a little bit less. Because the calorie deficit is not another method. It's not like the carnivore or the vegan diet. It's not like intermittent fasting or paleo or Atkins or keto. It is the principle that sits above all of these methods. Those methods are exactly that. They are ways of creating a calorie deficit. But the reality is, for 99% of my clients, I recommend that they have a balanced, omnivorous diet that's got plenty of plant-based and animal-based product in it, not skimping on any of their macronutrients, whether that's carbs, protein, or fats, because they all play an essential role in the healthy function of your brain and your body. Okay, let's move on to number two. Number two is pretty short and simple, and that is that a lot of people, when they first start on their weight loss journey, they go too hard and they go too fast. A lot of people go into it when motivation is high on a Monday morning, and they go from doing absolutely bugger all to absolutely everything. They suddenly go very restrictive on their food, and they go crazy on the amount that they move. They go from eating what they want, when they want, to eating almost nothing at all. And they go from barely moving, doing any steps or doing any exercise, to walking 10,000 steps a day, doing 5 runs, and getting down the gym 3 times a week. Think about it this way. If you were to give someone else, your best friend or a family member, advice on how to lose weight, what would you tell them? Would you tell them to go to those extremes? Probably not. So why are you doing it to yourself? And the reason this is one of the things that's stopping you lose that belly fat is that the people who do this, they go too hard, too fast, they burn out. They do everything for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they realize that it's not sustainable. Or more accurately, their brain tells them it's not sustainable. And then reason number 3 is shiny object syndrome. A lot of people in this world are caught up in social media trends. They've decided they want to lose weight. They attach themselves to a certain method, let's say keto or intermittent fasting. They do it for 2 weeks and they're not seeing the results that they want as fast as they want. And then they go on TikTok and they see some guy or girl talking about a new, shiny, better, quicker, faster, easier method of how you can lose weight guaranteed in 20 days. And they immediately stop everything they've been doing and jump ship onto a new method. They become a yo-yo dieter. And if you constantly do this, chop and change from one method to another, not only are you going to get exhausted, but you're not going to make any progress. It's like taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back at the same time. Reason number 4 is a little bit more nuanced and scientific, and that is to do with stress. You see, a lot of us judge our weight loss and fat loss based on the numbers that we see on the scales, right? That's what we've been told to do. But your weight, quite literally, is your gravitational pull to this planet. Think about that. I'll repeat that. Your weight is your gravitational pull to this planet. In space, you weigh nothing. On Earth, you weigh whatever the scales say you weigh. But we put so much emotional importance on that number. Why does it really matter? No one's walking around with their weight tattooed on their forehead, are they? But yet you imprint it on your psyche, on your self-worth. But it really doesn't matter. What matters, really, to me, and hopefully to you, is how you feel. And then secondary to that, how you look. There are plenty of people, by the way, who are skinny who are very unhealthy. I went slightly off track there, but for good reason. You see, quite often what's stopping us from losing weight isn't actually the fact that you're doing the right thing. You might be doing everything right and your weight is staying the same. And you might be thinking, well, that doesn't make any sense. But think about it this way. Your body is about 70% this, not plastic, water. So by and large, your weight is dependent on your water weight. And your water weight is dependent on a whole host of factors. But a lot of those factors are to do with your cortisol, which is your stress hormone. In other words, the more stressed you are, particularly if you are chronically stressed, the more likely that you are holding on to excess water weight, which then in the reality, when you step on the scales, makes you feel like you're holding on to excess fat. And this manifests in the real world too, when we look at ourselves in the mirror or in photos, because we can seem inflamed or bloated. You see, this comes back to our prehistoric brains. Our brain senses stress, but it doesn't see stress. It doesn't know why you are stressed. The reality is, in this day and age, you're stressed because you've been triggered by something on social media, or you've missed the train and you're going to be late for work. In your brain's head, it thinks you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. It thinks that stress, that rise in cortisol in your bloodstream is down to the fact that you are going to die. So your brain is very clever. Remember I said earlier, your brain's job is to try and keep you alive. So what it does is it helps your body become more efficient. It helps your muscles to contract harder and faster, but it also helps your cells to hold on to more water. So when you're chronically stressed, when your cortisol level, your stress hormone is elevated, you are holding on to excess water weight. Now, I appreciate you might be listening to that and thinking, wow, that's really interesting and useful information, but Doug, what the heck am I going to do with that? I have a stressful life, I have a stressful job, and I completely appreciate that. But there are some very simple habits that you can implement into your daily routine that are going to reduce your stress. And in fact, two of them I've already spoken about. One of them, limiting those stimulants, caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, and sugar. And the other one, walking more, activating that parasympathetic nervous system. But the other one, and this might sound counterintuitive, but is actually drinking more of this, more water. The other thing to think about here is your gut health. One of the biggest links that we have between our brain and our body is in our gut. 90% of our serotonin is produced in our gut. And if you don't know what serotonin is, it's the feel-good, happy hormone. Now, obviously, if your stress is high, it's probable that your serotonin, your happiness, is going to be a little bit lower. So if you're eating higher quality food, you're going to be producing more serotonin because your gut health is going to be in a better way. So what does that look like? That looks like a higher protein, higher fibrous, more voluminous diet, less processed food, less trans fats. But it also means losing that excess body weight, making your body more efficient. I don't want to go too far off topic in this video and make it all about stress management, but if you're interested in me doing a video about stress management, drop a comment, let me know, and I'm more than happy to dive deeper into that topic. So we've covered reasons 1 to 4. Just to recap, reason number 1 is that you're on a diet, but you're not actually in a calorie deficit. Reason number 2 is that you're doing everything right, but you're going too hard and too fast. Reason number 3 is that you've caught shiny object syndrome and you've become a yo-yo dieter, chopping and changing, jumping from one ship to the next. And reason number 4 is that you are chronically stressed. You're holding on to excess water weight, which you're now thinking is excess body fat because of what you see on the scales. So to finish off, let's talk about reason number 5. Reason number 5 that's holding you back from burning that stubborn belly fat. And that simply is patience. Because a lot of people are actually doing the thing. They're doing everything right. Maybe they're not doing it perfectly, but they've got the right idea, but they're just not patient enough. And I get it. When you put your focus into something, whether it's trying to get a promotion at work, trying to lose weight, trying to get bigger or stronger, trying to find a partner, trying to get pregnant, whatever it might be, you attach all of your focus and you attach your emotion to that. And it's no different when you're trying to lose weight. You become naturally obsessive, for lack of a better word. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because where you put your focus and attention is where you're going to get the results. But you also have to appreciate that this is a process, and it's a process that requires patience. But think about it this way. If you've got the proven formula and you know how to lose 1 pound of fat, then all you need to do is rinse and repeat that formula over and over again until you've lost all the pounds of fat that you want to lose. But remember, guys, this is what 1 pound of fat looks like. It's pretty big. You don't need to worry about losing 20, 30, or 50 of these. Worry about losing 1. Once you've figured out how to lose 1 of these, you've cracked it. You know what you need to do. You just need to consistently execute those actions, habits, and behaviors until you've lost all the pounds that you want. This isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. The chances are, if you're watching a video like this, you're probably doing a few, if not all of the things already. Maybe you need to tweak a few things and hopefully the information in this video has helped you and you can go away and apply it to your real life. But you just need to have a bit more patience. You need to understand that you're on the right trajectory, and your trajectory is far more important than your position or the speed that you're going at. I know in this day and age, we've all forgotten how to be patient. We're so used to getting everything that we want instantly, whether it's dopamine fixes from social media or ordering food on Deliveroo or Uber Eats. Everything comes very easily to us nowadays. Unfortunately, our bodies and our brains have not caught up with modern technology, guys, and you're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to be diligent. You're going to have to be disciplined. Ultimately, if you're doing this stuff, you're on the right track. Patience really is the key. So that's it, guys. Those are the 5 real reasons that you're probably not losing belly fat. I really hope this video has been useful, but if you've got any questions or comments, feel free to leave them underneath this video and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Until the next one, bye.